Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is Crested Gecko enclosure size. I wanted to make this video to hopefully help some of you guys out who are wondering if the cage you have is the right size for your Crested Gecko or not. And with some recent events on this channel, I thought it would be a good video to make. Now I've made some videos similar to this, but nothing exactly like this, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about it today. We're going to be going over what I use, what some other people use, and just my overall opinions on this subject. And hopefully it'll help you out in the end. But anyway, let's get right into it. So starting out with what I do, personally speaking, I keep my babies, which would be something under 10 grams, in something less than 5 gallons. And the reason for this is, if it's a small enclosure with a small gecko, they're more likely to eat, and generally they just do better than if you were to put them in something really large right away. If you're having problems with a baby gecko, that would be my #1 recommendation, is what size tank is it in. If it's in something big, put it into something small, and usually that'll solve the problem if that's what it originally was. However, that's not always the case, but sometimes that does help, and personally speaking, I would say that there's really no reason to put a baby gecko in something really large, so hopefully something under 5 gallons. One of my babies is in a 6-quart shoebox, and my other one is in a 16-quart kind of taller little plastic tub, and they both did very well in there. My one has put on about 5 grams in 5 months, so he's doing okay in there. But anyway, let's move on to juveniles / subadults. So anything roughly 10 grams to 25 grams or so is what it would be in this category, and I kind of do this the same as my adults, so I guess we'll throw this all into one category. So after my geckos hit roughly 10 grams, what I do is I put them into a 32-quart bin. Now this is roughly equivalent to 8 gallons or so, and the tubs that I have are roughly about 14 by 14 by 14, I would say. I haven't measured them, so I wouldn't know, but if I just had to guess by looking at them right now, that's what I would say. They might be a little bit bigger actually, but these 32-quart tubs are very nice for me because they're square, so I can stack them easier, and it just works out really nice with the way they work in my house. Now there's kind of a debate going on just within the Crested Gecko community of what size is the minimum enclosure size for an adult Crested Gecko. Now I have my adult, one of them is in a 66-quart bin, which is roughly, I want to say like 17 gallons or so, and I have a couple of my other adults or subadults in 32-quart bins, and there's a lot of people who will say you need at least 10 gallons for an adult Crested Gecko, and then there's others who will say you need at least 20. Now I just wanted to give you guys a simple analogy here to look at it like this. So let's say you're going to be living in a 10-foot by 10-foot room for the rest of your life, but all your needs are going to be met. Are you going to be happy? Probably not, but are you going to be like really sad either? No, you'll probably just be okay, kind of in the middle. But let's say, you know, you get a 50-foot by 50-foot room with a ton of stuff in it, and you're going to still have all your needs met. Are you going to be happy? It's more likely that you'd be happy in a larger room, but because you're in the smaller room doesn't mean you're also just like super sad either. That's kind of my like analogy I would use for this situation. Putting a Crested Gecko in a 12 by 12 by 18 isn't going to necessarily kill them. Obviously they can do perfectly fine. Many Crested Geckos would do fine in that size enclosure, live a happy life, you know, and be okay. But my recommendation is if you have the space for a bigger tank or a bigger enclosure when they're an adult, I would definitely do it. However, keeping them in something a little bit smaller, like a 10-gallon, isn't going to hurt them either. You're just probably going to want to interact with them more and give them a little bit more exercise, maybe by taking them out more often or something, just so that you're not stressing them out by staying in that small little enclosure all day. But 10 gallons for an adult Crested Gecko isn't actually that bad. Obviously, I would never go below 10, but something like these 32-quart containers for my adults isn't necessarily that bad. However, my female, who is in a 66-quart tub by herself right now, doesn't even use like half of her tub, even though I have stuff on the whole half. Now I know at nighttime they come out and explore more, but I would just recommend doing what you think is best after you research. Don't just take my advice for it, look up some other stuff. I think mine is pretty much down the middle here. That's what I do with my Crested Geckos. So babies, less than 5 gallons, adults, 10 minimum. If you have space and money, do more. If you don't, it's not going to kill them to be in something that size. Now I wanted to talk to you guys about what some other people do. So recently I messaged one of my favorite breeders on Instagram and asked him what he does. Some of you guys may know from him. I have bought from him before. And he said that he keeps his adults by themselves, that is, in a 27 quart, which is roughly like 7 grams, I want to say. I mean 7 gallons. And he's keeping one solo adult in there, so that's a little bit smaller than what I even do. And he says that if he's doing groups, he puts them in, I believe, 56 quarts is what he said. So that's roughly like 15 or 14 gallons, I believe. So as you guys can see, you know, he's obviously had a lot more experience with crested geckos than I have. He probably has a couple hundred geckos right now of all kinds, compared to me just having a couple crested geckos. And if it's working for him, then obviously what I'm doing here isn't necessarily that bad either. Not saying that he's 100% right by doing what he's doing, but you know, he's been in the business longer, he's been doing it longer. Obviously he probably knows what he's doing more than I do. Not saying that I don't know what I'm doing, but he's just had more experience is what I'm trying to say. Now Moon Valley Reptiles is a good online site where you guys can go and look at what they have to say. They said that basically the minimum for an adult is 10 gallons, the bare minimum, and that obviously at 18 by 18 by 24 would be better, so kind of what I was just saying earlier. But I would say that as long as you're not going below 10 gallons for your adult crested gecko, I would say that you are fine. Most crested geckos are going to do fine as an adult in a 10 gallon. If you do have the money to get a 18 by 18 by 24 for all your adults, go ahead and go for it. Personally speaking, I think my geckos are happy as they are. I usually take them out once or twice a week, all of them that is, so you know, they get more time to climb around and do whatnot. But you know, just do what you think, do some research, and do what you think is best for you. Hopefully this helped you guys out. If you have any questions about your crested gecko in general, or about their cage size and how old they are and stuff like that, just leave a comment down below. I'd be more than happy to answer them. Anyway, you guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. We're getting close to 500 subscribers, so that's going to be pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video.